What's up? What's up? We back at it with the Workman podcast. How you doing, my brother?
Man, I'm good, man. It's been a minute. We back at it. You know what I'm saying? We haven't recorded something in a while, but
Oh God.
like we just back at it, man. Sometimes you gotta take a little moment to just sit and reflect, like we were just talking about. So it's just good to see, exactly everything that we got going on and to take that step back to actually see basically do a reflection of what we done up until this point, you
Yes,
know.
sir.
Um
Make sure,
and I
make
only know
sure
it's
we
gonna
on the
get
right
better.
track. Yeah, I feel it.
Yep. But how's everything been with you? Just to do a little recap of, just what's going
Everything's
on.
been good, man. Just taking some time to myself, gathering everything. I feel like we made a lot of progress with the Workman brand, with the podcast wise, and just taking some time to kind of see what direction we want to go into. I know we're both very interested in finance and
Mm,
financial literacy, for people who work 9 to 5 who might not have the time to do all the research, and also, athletes, people who, only been exposed to, the athletics and entertainment side of life. And we weren't really exposed to the financial aspects, the ways that we can make extra money here and there. So it's kind of, you know, just kind of getting more into that, learning more, getting more resources that way we can provide more value. So that's really what I've been focusing on. And then also just focusing on my inner peace as well, which is very key, because you never know what might happen. I don't know if you guys know, whoever listening, but yeah, one of our great teammates, Doug Brown, he died recently, and it definitely, I could feel it through, all our teammates, everybody I talked to. Is just it hit home, how short life can be and how fragile it is, and just how we need to take some time to kind of just slow down and make sure that the things that we're doing are actually, the things that we want to be remembered for, and the things that we want to, stand on, because it can all be gone in a flash. And if you take for granted this opportunity we have to live, I think, it could be bad. So just slowing down and, making sure your peace right.
right, man. And just want to send prayers up for all the Tuskegee and Tuskegee baseball family right now. That's feeling that loss, especially out the Doug Brown family, who's feeling it for sure. Prayers up, and we gonna keep it going for Doug, man. Long live Doug, man. That was our guy.
Yeah,
Played
that's
two,
my
three
that's
years
my
with my boy,
brother.
man. For sure. For sure.
Yeah,
So
that one definitely hurt. Yeah, but prayers to his family, prayers to the team, and just prayers to everybody who even knew him, because he was a special dude. Everybody knew it.
yes,
So
sir.
so yeah, man. You been seeing how crypto been moving, bro?
Man, what? Man, crypto been booming, boy. Crypto been
Yeah.
going crazy.
And it's been going crazy for a minute too. It's just whenever Bitcoin move big, that's when everybody starts talking about crypto as a whole and start looking at everything. But they've been having some other coins that's been moving a lot, even more than Bitcoin moved recently. So, just keep your
Hmm.
eyes out there, but they always got something moving, you know.
Oh yeah, if you've been paying attention, it's like life, right? Everything happens slowly but surely. If you've been paying
Hmm.
attention, you kind of knew like, okay, we at that hard bottom. We got no choice but up from here. You feel me? So,
Hmm.
if you've been peeping it, I get notifications all the time and just see it creeping up, and that's different coins, right? So, you know, if you have the time, do the research. And that's kind of one of the reasons we here and we're taking our journey right now. We're still learning this thing and diving in. I got a couple coins myself. I got a little bit here, like nothing crazy, but it's like, make that safe investment, and do your research, before you start just diving in. You don't want to always, sometimes going with the hype is good, you know what I'm saying? But you always want to do that research before you start putting any of your money into anything, you know? So, but, uh, but that's what we're kind of here to talk about today. We're getting real specific now. I start diving in, and I think that now it's time for us to start kind of letting people know how exactly what they can really do now to really put themselves in a better position in the future. And so one of the things uh, that we were knowledgeable of early on, especially as we became professionals was retirement. You know, we hear people talk about it all the time. You know, we hear our parents talk about it. You know, get that 401k. Saving that retirement fund or whatever. But a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people really know exactly what a retirement fund comes with, or how to really save for it, or how to even get started doing it. So I think we should make a lot of people knowledgeable of that, especially I think people our age that may just be getting ready to come out into the world and get starting their profession, their career. This is something that you can start at any moment. You don't have to wait to go get a job to start saving for it, you know, and start putting a little money here and there for it, you know. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. So I mean, hey, El, you want dial the people in and let them know what's going on?
Yeah, so definitely. So first things first, what is a retirement account? It's basically any I guess external account that you open with either a financial firm or a bank of your choice. A lot of these chain banks have financial and in retirement accounts available that you can sign up for. But usually, if you work at a 9 to 5, you'll get one with your job. If you're self-employed, you'll have to go open one at one of these banks, and it's basically an account that you can pour into on a monthly basis, and then it'll put your money into a fund to where you're pretty much just remotely investing into these different funds, and your money will grow over a period up until you're 59 and a half. So it's basically like just putting money into a fund that you never even think about. You never really look at it, and you kind of just let it grow. And then when you get to that age where you're ready to settle down and you want to go live on an island somewhere, you'll have that money, and that money can come back to you monthly. So that's how I view retirement. It's kind of like something that you just never touch,
Right.
until you absolutely need it, but and it's, you never want to put in too much to where, you need to get that money out. Just put in a little bit here and there and let that compound interest grow. Start as early as you can, age, in your 20s if you can, and then just let it build. So
Right. You know, and then a lot of people the thing about retirement funds is if you open one, right? So that's what we hear a lot about 401ks, right? A lot of people don't know there's different types of retirement funds. So, for instance, the 401k, which is usually provided by your company. If you do work for a big enough company that provides those, I suggest if you're looking for work that you do look for a company that will provide that 401k for you. Because most times when you open it through your company, they will match that, right? Dollar for dollar, or and up to a certain percentage of whatever your salary or whatever your pay is, right? Um, and it just really, when it comes to an IRA, there's two different kinds. So there's a traditional IRA, uh, individual retirement account, and then there's a Roth. So there's a couple of differences when it comes to those two. Um, to put it in layman's terms and to go down a little bit deeper, when it comes to a traditional IRA, you can look at your 401k as a traditional IRA. That's essentially what it is. Um, and with your traditional IRA, you make contributions on a monthly basis, right? But there are certain limitations on the 401k or traditional IRA. Mind you that, like El said, you can go into your bank. You can go you can either go through your bank or you can go through your or any type of broker like Ameritrade does it. So Ameritrade, Fidelity. There are a couple of different types of brokers that actually will open up you that you can open up an IRA through, and it's free, right? It doesn't cost any money. But just know that but if you are to open one, I would suggest you be ready to start contributing as soon as possible. Like, don't open it and then just kind of let it sit, right? You want to be intentional about investing those funds, because annually, just having your money inside of an IRA, it'll grow over 7%, right? Just sitting in, just by you contributing to it, right?
yep.
And so with the 401k, I just talk a little bit about it. With the 401k, it's different from a Roth IRA just because it's through your company, you have limitations on what type of investments you can make. So once you make your contribution, let's say I contribute $150 a month to my retirement fund, to that traditional IRA, right? So most of that money in a traditional IRA or a 401k is, correct me if I'm wrong, L, is pre-tax, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pre-tax, right? So like after, it can either be pre-tax, you can elect to do it either pre-tax or post-tax. I have it set up to where, it's pre-tax, so it automatically it's automatic.
So bring it back a little bit, because
Yeah,
I know the audience probably don't even know what pre-tax means.
got
So
you. Let's
explain
break
what
it
that
down a
means.
bit.
Just
So
let them know what pre-tax is.
pre-tax is essentially when, every time you get paid, right? Every time you get paid, you're taxed, right? There's income taxes, you have your Medicaid, everything else. So out of all those different taxes that you have to pay, that money will come out of your account before you actually get your paycheck. So let's say you get paid $1,000 a month, right? Let's say you get paid $1,000 a month. So if you elect pre-tax to contribute $100 a month to your 401k, then your paycheck will now be $900, right? So that's what a pre-tax means. And if you do post-tax, if you make $1,000 a month, you will get that $1,000, and then after you get that $1,000, then that money will come out, and then you put that into your retirement fund yourself, right?
So basically, if you use the after tax, then whenever you want to go withdraw at age 59 and a half, they won't tax that money again because it was already taxed when you put it in. But
Right.
if you do the pre-tax, you put it in, you're gonna be actually putting in more money because it was never taxed. But whenever you go to withdraw it, then they'll tax it. But you'll never know what kind of tax bracket you're in at that age. You might be at a higher tax bracket because you're making more money. So I like to have a lot in pre-tax and after tax, like kind of split it up, just because you never know which one would be more beneficial just based on how you're going to be living in the future. So just split it up that way. If you're confused, just do 50-50. But so yeah, I'm gonna just go into just kind of summarize what's going on. So you got three major types of retirement accounts. You got 401k, you got your traditional IRA, and you got your Roth IRA. We're going to start with the 401k. So that's basically what any employer is going to give you to give you a match on your money. So say your employer is like, if you invest 7% of your income, we'll match you 7% on top of that. So however much you put in at 7%, we'll put in 7% as well. Boom. So you put in 7% every month, and then your company will throw that another 70% identical on top of that into the same retirement account. So you basically doubling your money by doing absolutely nothing. All you're doing is paying that minimum amount to get the match, and they just giving you extra money for it. So who would not do that?
That's free money. Who don't want free money? So essentially, if you think about it like this, my company, for example, they do up to 4%. So I personally, at first I was contributing about 8%, right? 8%. So they went up to 4%. So essentially, you can think of it as that's 12% going into my retirement fund, right?
Yeah.
So, but what you can also do is, if you want to just meet that match and keep that extra bread and maybe put that somewhere else for another investment, just meet the match, right? So now I brought it back down to 4%. So now essentially I'm putting 8% of my funds. 4% of that 8% is free. So I'm only contributing that half of that, right? to my fund. It's just doubling your money, like you said, and
Exactly.
then on top of that, right? From that 401k, most times with your company, and just to go a little bit further, you can elect investments from that account.
Yep.
So if your company, most times for big companies like Fortune 500 companies, they have a stock. They're publicly traded. So most times you automatically get that. You can automatically elect that investment into that account, and then they also give you a list of different investments that you can make from that account.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, that's actually one thing I had to do shortly after I started working there. The whole pandemic came, stock market crashed. So I was thinking, I was like, usually these 401k accounts, they put you in a lot of bonds, commodities, um, a small amount of stocks. They'll put you in some large cap companies, which is like big, like companies like Apple, and they put you in mid cap, which is like smaller businesses, and then small cap. So, once the pandemic hit, I was like, so stocks are dropping. So why would I not transition my portfolio to where I allocate more of my retirement to stocks right now? That way I can purchase them while they're cheap. And then once they go up, then I could switch everything back to, more commodities, gold, things like that into my retirement account. So you have some flexibility within there. With a 401k is not as flexible as an IRA, because with an IRA, you can actually invest in like individual stocks. Like, you can go get Apple, but with my 401k, I can't necessarily do that. But there is some wiggle room to where you can control where your money goes, and I feel like that can really change the trajectory of your retirement by like hundreds of thousands for sure.
hey man, I said the smartest thing I've done was, when I got hired onto my company, I actually, I got a sign-on bonus, right? So I got a sign-on bonus. And so most people will see that sign-on bonus and like, oh, it still gets taxed, right? People think you don't get that lump sum, it still gets taxed, but
Mm-hmm.
that's a big lump sum of money, especially when you first come out of school. But something told me, hey, you know what? Your first check, just throw it into the 401. Just throw it into the 401, because you're not doing nothing with it anyway. You done paid all your bills, you done put your rent down and everything.
Just get that thing
And
rolling.
right. And just keep it rolling. So this is the crazy part. So when I saw that lump sum that I got after initially electing it, it was still a lump sum of money. So imagine if I wouldn't have done that. I would see
Right.
a whole bag, right? But now I'm so glad that I did that, because because now, after, I think maybe I've only been working there 2 years, and I saw my money triple, like
Right.
and it's set it and forget it, right? So as long as you elect that, it's always coming out of your account, right? So now you learn to work with the money that you're getting every 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So now you don't even know until you go check it, and it's like, oh, I got that much bread in there. Yeah,
And
you
it's
got that
and
much
it's
bread in
crazy
there.
because like it's really like you're really putting a lot of money in there, like, but you
Yeah.
find a way to survive and really still live well while you're still putting that much money into it. It's like almost like you never even had it.
Right.
It's so like psychological how the whole set it and forget it automated payment thing works, because you feel so disconnected from the money as if you never had it in your hand. But if you had to physically take $400 every month and put it in the bank, you know how many
You
people would not
going
be able to do that every month?
Man, you gonna feel that, because you like, dang, this is a lot of money that I'm putting into this
I can't
account.
even say I'd be able to do that every month. I'd be like, I'm gonna skip this month.
Right.
Like,
You'll
yeah,
be
but
you'll be really picky and really wishy washy. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying,
But
with how you allocate your
every
funds.
month, bro, like I have not missed a month yet, and it's just like I don't even think about it. Like it just happens, And whenever you can get to that point to where you just trust the process that much to where you can just let it happen, that's when beautiful things will start happening in your life, because you really just relying on your faith and and trusting your knowledge and and your long term plan and your goals. Because honestly, man, I think having a retirement account is definitely like a foundation of building wealth. Like if any person wants to be wealthy in their life, they have to have like a 401k IRA of some sort set up, because there's so many benefits to it. Like
Mm-hmm.
outside of just, whenever you turn 60, is you also get the tax benefits, because that income that you put into your 401k or your IRA, that's not seen as taxable income anymore. So
Right.
it reduces you, from that tax liability and puts you in a lower tax bracket, which reduces your overall tax, and it'll increase your tax return, you know,
Right.
because you can write those payments off. And a lot of people don't know that, and
Mm-hmm.
you showing, whenever you don't have a retirement account, you're showing more money than you actually, are using, because a lot of that money you just put in a savings account, which isn't growing for you anyway, because you think you're doing something by saving it. But what you're really doing is you're really devaluing your money. It's not growing, and you getting taxed on it.
Right.
You feel me? Instead of you putting in something to where it can grow and not get taxed. You feel me? So it's
Right.
really a shield.
Oh yeah, and like you said, it just grows over time. So you're gonna see it like it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow probably 2 or 3 times what you would see if you were just trying to save your money every paycheck and then physically put it in there yourself. So it's that's the found like you said, it's the foundation. That's just with the 401k. Like so, for all the people that's especially people that come out of school or people even now, like there's people that's grown people now, like in their 30s or 40s, don't even really know about 401ks. They just kind of getting their money and then doing whatever with it. You know what I'm saying? So if you are in a career now, if you have a job now, ask about 401ks. Ask if that company, that job provides 401ks. Because we know that, we always look for benefits like health benefits and stuff like that. But ask about those 401ks because that's essentially free money that you're missing out on.
Yep. And just one thing I want to note, I believe is with the IRAs, with the Roth IRAs, you can take the money that you put in, you can withdraw that at any point without a penalty. But you cannot withdraw the profit that you made on that money. So say if you contributed 7% a month into a Roth IRA and you absolutely needed that money, you were in a huge bind financially and you needed the money, you can withdraw the money that you contributed to the IRA if you absolutely needed it without penalty, because it was already taxed. It was the after tax dollars with that Roth IRA. So just keep that in mind. There is a little bit of flexibility into it. You got to make sure you stay up on the codes and the laws, but you know, just do some basic research before you start jumping into them. You can call one of us. You can call me or Christian. Talk to us about it first, and we'll help you walk through it. But yeah, man, I think having a retirement account. Well, I know having a retirement account is beneficial, and
Right.
everybody needs one.
Yeah, and especially with traditional IRAs, right? Going back to traditional IRAs, we talked about 401ks, but then traditional IRAs and Roth IRAs have a little bit of have a few differences to them. I know for one, like when you make a withdrawal, um, well, there's a required you have to make a minimum. There's a minimum age that you have to start withdrawing that money. So say if you started at our age, like 24 or whatever, and now you say you have like maybe $1 million in that account, right? Um, at age 72, now you have to start pulling that money out. They're not gonna let it sit
Mm-hmm.
in there, right? And especially if you have a spouse, right? If you're married or whatever, um, you have to actually look into what tag bracket you actually fall into because there's required limits that you can't exceed with the IRS, before they start looking into that, right?
Yep. And they make you take a certain amount too. Like
Oh, really? I didn't know about
they
that one.
yeah they make you withdraw at a certain age, and then it has to be a certain amount to make sure like you don't have so much left into your account to where it's still continuously growing. I think it's kind of messed up when you think about it, because like they force you to take your money out of this investment vehicle and convert it into just fiat currency, which you
Right.
might not want to do at that moment, which you might not even need. But you know, it's just one of those things. You just gotta. It's pros and cons to every investment. You let it grow from the age of 20 to 74, so you can't really be upset if somebody's like, all right, that's enough. Like, you need to get it out of here,
Right. Right.
move it somewhere else, like put it into a different like mutual fund or something like that.
Right. And do you remember what the limits are? Because I know I think, for is it Roth IRA that is like $6,000 a
Yeah,
year?
one of them like 7,500 or something like that.
Right.
And yeah, one of them like 6,000. I think the 401k you can put more into it than definitely than the Roth.
Right. Right. So you have to watch that as well. One, and if you're in a position to do so, max it out for the year. Max it out for the year. So if you can do 7,500 for that 401k, do it. If you can do
Oh
six
yeah,
thousand
put
for the
it put it
year
all
on a
in,
Roth,
max it out.
do it. Because guess what? That's $6,000 for a whole year, right? And that's not even including.
That's
That's not even
crazy.
including the growth. That's not even including the growth that is going to obtain when you start actually diving into the different investments that you can make. And so that's the difference with the Roth IRA too, right? It's
Yep.
almost treated like a regular broker, like almost like Robinhood. So with with a Roth IRA, you can, instead of having that limited selection that the 401k provides, you can go make investments in anything. It can be low, it can be small cap, it can be large cap, it can be
Yep.
bonds, it can be anything that you want it to be. So I personally, like, I have a 401k, and then I also have a Roth IRA. So I contribute a certain percentage to both. That way, I'm also getting that tax benefit, like for the income tax, but at the same time, as my income tax grows, as my tax bracket grows over time for the Roth, I'll still be able to see that growth as well, and then
Yep.
still be able to pull it. That's money I can pull from and just leave my 401k to continue to grow, right? If I
Hmm.
if I choose to do that. And then for 401ks, like kind of like a little Easter egg, right? You can, if you saved up enough, there's special circumstances where you can actually pull it from your 401k and it be free. Right. So for a 401k, if you're going to want to invest in real estate, you can
Hmm.
pull that, right? But if you pull that money from your 401k, you're essentially taking a loan out for yourself. So you're gonna have to take interest out, right? I mean, it's gonna be an interest on that loan, but I would rather take a loan out for myself and put it back in there, knowing I'm gonna pay it back, rather than go and get a loan from somewhere else and then I have to pay somebody else the interest back. Because essentially you
Exactly.
paying that interest and you paying yourself more. So yeah, it's gonna seem like it sucks, but that's gonna still grow. So you're still essentially allowing your money to grow, and that's growing more than your money just sitting in a savings account.
Exactly. Yep. And I think a lot of people, they don't view themselves as a bank.
Right.
But that's really what you building when you have a 401k or IRA. You building your own bank, really.
Mm-hmm.
Because whenever you start using it when you turn 60, that's just going to be, reoccurring income that's just going to be shooting into you every month. From this
Right.
from this big lump sum, the bank is going to just be shooting you money. You basically just created your own financial institution.
Right. Right.
And
Exactly,
you have to
bro.
and you have to view it like that, because when you put it in that mind frame, you're going to think about it differently. You're not just going to try to withdraw from it and take penalties on it every time that you need money. You're going to view it as, how can I strategically use this money for an investment? Let me think. Maybe I want to buy some real estate. How much I got in my 401k? Okay, I got 100,000. Let me take a loan out for, about 4% interest on it. Boom, go put the down payment on the house, buy the house. Boom, now I'm getting the rent from the tenants. Now I'm putting all of that back into my 401k. Now that's growing, and I've got this equity in the house growing. You feel me?
Yep.
So it's like you killing two birds with one stone.
And speaking on that, I was talking to OG a while ago, a couple months ago, and he was telling me like because he I think he live in or he from Shreveport or whatever, um, and he was saying how he started contributing to his 401, and then he basically took that amount out to put down on the house, right? And then so he bought the house, put down payment on the house, and then he held it over. And that's a house out here, not a house back there, but a house out here, right? And so now his house, that house is gaining value. He brought this back in maybe like the early 2000s, probably before it started booming again. You feel what I'm saying? So he put that money down, got that house. Now his equity is growing over time. So he held that down, right? So he held that down. Then because of life circumstances, he was like, okay, well, I don't want to be in this house no more. Let me go ahead and use that equity, sell the house. And now he essentially paid off that interest like quickly.
Exactly.
He said he
paid
paid
the
that
whole damn loan off.
the loan off plus
Right.
some. And then he used that equity that from after he paid that loan off. Now you don't have the loan to worry about.
Yeah.
And go night. Then he got a house back. Now he got a house back in Louisiana.
That's
you see
the
what
way
I'm
you
saying?
do it, bro.
And that's how you got to do it. That's how you got to set
He didn't
yourself
even
up
need
to
a
win.
bank.
He was the bank. You feel
Yep.
me? So we have to treat ourselves like that. You know, every investment that we make, it has to be within ourselves. So you have to look at every choice, every decision that you make as, okay, how can I invest in myself today? What's the best circumstance for me to basically invest in myself and allow not only my money to grow, but my value to grow? You feel what I'm saying? So that's definitely gonna have to be something that you obviously think about. And we're just giving these options out, right? And if you rather, and whether you pick a traditional IRA or a Roth, you know, that just depends on your situation, how much you can really contribute, right? So, you know, we're not financial advisors at all, but we just know what information is out there and we're just providing it. So, part of this, we're here to provide the information, but you got to do your research. You know what I'm saying? Look into it. Talk to financial advisors. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. Just talk it out with somebody that you know can help. You know, and I mean, even if it's us, we can maybe dive a little bit further into what benefits actually there are for, what kind of benefits there are with a lot of these options out here. Because guess what? That's another way to make money. It may not seem like it because it's a lot that comes with it, and you're just thinking of like, oh, I'm just putting this in there, I'm just putting this in there, but it's growing over time.
You're not putting it into a black hole.
Right.
You do want to set it and forget it, but whenever it's time and you thinking of ways that you can strategically increase your income, always go back to that bank that you created and be like, how can I use this in a way that's beneficial to me, instead of me going to these banks who really don't even know me, don't care about me, and me paying them interest. Why would I not see if I could pay myself some interest for once?
And especially now, a lot of smart real estate people that want to get in real estate that have been saving in their retirement funds because of COVID. Like COVID, they even with the CARES Act, they put in place, you don't have to meet these specifications. You can pull out if you need to and go put down the house. I work with somebody that said, hey, bro, because of COVID, I was able to pull out as much as I wanted to put down on the house.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Of course, there's different
people did that.
Yeah. So of course, there's certain stipulations with certain things, but that's what about doing the research and knowing if that's the right move and the right decision for you. You feel me?
It's gonna be more opportunities, But the thing, that we really want to stress is just give yourself options, bro. Like the person with the most options is the person with the most leverage and the most opportunity for growth. Because you don't want to just diversify, your income as far as, have multiple streams of income. You want multiple types of investments. You don't want to just have, different types of stocks in your portfolio. No, you want to have stocks. You want to have some crypto. You want to have some real estate. You want to have some life insurance. You want to have some retirement. You diversify your assets too. Don't just diversify the sectors within your assets. You feel me? So,
right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know all these things amount to your net worth. So real quick, just a little tidbit. We're going to go into more about it, especially like life insurance and all that. But people don't know you paying a life insurance policy right now, especially for the young people. Get a life insurance policy because the premium, which is the amount you pay per month for the year, is going to be cheaper than if you were to start at 35, 40, because your lifespan and that looking at your lifespan and your health. So the older you get, they're assuming that your health is not going to be the greatest, and you don't have that, and you don't have that many years as opposed to somebody as that was 20, 23, 24, 25,
Right.
right? And so you may be paying let's say $100 a month, $150 a month, but your life insurance policy for $300,000. Now you essentially, that $300,000 is a part of your net worth because that's your policy. You see what I'm saying? So like assets over liabilities, man. People want to throw all this bread. You know how $100 a month, people spend $100 in a day.
Right.
In less
A
than
lot of
5 minutes.
we can find a way to afford $100 a month, even if you gotta make an extra $100. You can make
Exactly.
an extra $100 do anything.
Exactly. Especially nowadays, $100 really ain't nothing. So you got to look at what you really spending your time on.
Boy, you
You
can't
see what
do
I'm
nothing
saying?
with $100, boy.
Man, $100 is a
You can't even go
meal.
to go get a good grocery. You can't even go make a good grocery trip with $100.
Not at all. Not at all. That grocery bill be so high. I'd be mad when I go to the
Son,
grocery
groceries
store.
be hitting.
Especially now with inflation and everything. Yeah, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. But
Yeah, bro,
that's
I'm
the
over here
basics.
yawning and everything, boy. I'm tired,
Hey
boy. I ain't
man,
gonna lie.
I don't know. Hey, that's that grind,
I'm
man.
exhausted, boy. But we gonna push
But
through.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I mean,
But
I
yeah,
think
bro, I just wanted to hit them with like just some real tangible information. I feel like leading up to it, we gave them a lot of great information just on mindset. Then we also went into, how to grow your money. We talked, on a broad sense of like all the different assets you can get into. And like you said, now we just going, asset by asset, really digging deep into them. We're gonna work our way around, the different assets, life insurance, crypto, all of that.
we're gonna
But we
talk
wanted
about
to start with
credit.
that. Yeah, we're gonna talk about
All
credit,
that.
debt,
Got
all that.
to.
But
Got
we
to.
wanted to start with retirement specifically because that's something that I felt like people don't give the respect to.
Mm-hmm.
That really has so much more utility than people really speak on. So
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, man, we're just living testimonies, right? This is stuff that we've done, that we're working on doing. We wouldn't be speaking on and providing information if we haven't been doing it,
yeah,
right? You know what I'm saying? So obviously we see the growth and we see the benefits. So we just want to put the information out there if, to those people that really need to understand, right? Because we're at a point in time right now, especially that these things need to start being focused on. And this is the basics, right? You got to start with the foundation, right? You know what I'm saying? You can't just jump in to the stock market and expect that your stuff gonna grow over time if you don't know what you're doing, right? But I do know if I go put my money into this IRA, it's gonna grow 7% over the year. You feel what I'm saying? And if I make some more, then if I make some investments, some smart investments from there, as I'm learning to get into the stock market, now that's even more gains, there's even more growth to the contribution I've already made. You see what I'm saying? So this
yep,
is the basics. This is the 101. So, everything started with the foundation, man. But I think we hit it on the nose with a lot of this stuff. You feel me? And I just hope that the people listening, whoever's listening, if you out, all those out there listening and have been keeping keep in touch with us and keeping base with us, touching base with us on the daily. As we continue to drop these gems, man, we appreciate y'all. And we hope that you take these some notes and some things to like bring back to the crib or start implementing, because it's gonna
yep,
definitely make a difference in the long run. It's about the little steps. You feel me? One step at a time, one day at a time.
exactly. Yep, that's all we got. We just want to give you all them nuggets. Hey, if you don't mind, just leave us a like and subscribe. Leave us
Yes,
an
sir.
Apple review on Apple Podcasts if you're listening, and also just be on the lookout, for any news. We're gonna drop some links in the bio and description below. Just be on the lookout. Coming soon, I will be launching a Discord community for smart money investing. We'll basically be dropping stock and crypto plays for the month. Also have a monthly financial planning call, giving you clear goals. Everybody's going to set their own, smart goals, and also, just help you with investing overall. So it's going to be a great community. More details coming, still working on it. So just be on the lookout.
Yep. We also, and I'm also be dropping here soon. Been prepping for a while, so I got the personal budget. It starts with your budget,
Yep.
personal budget spreadsheet. You just put all your expenses into one column, into a couple columns. It's very specific, very direct, and you hit enter, and everything pop up. Okay, this is how much money I'm saving. This is how much money this is how much money I'm spending. This is how much money I'm saving. Um, this is how much money that's left over that can go to investments, things like that. Also working on a savings guide. So different ways to actually save. Like people think saving, you can only save one way because that's the traditional way. Hey, and put this money in the bank. Nah, like we said, treat this retirement fund, treat crypto, treat stocks, treat those like your savings accounts because essentially that's what they are, right? And you just have to be smart about what you're saving and what you're investing in, right? So going to be dropping that soon too. Got a lot of things on the way, man. Dolo Apparel, man, we there, man.
It's here.
Dolo Apparel. I think when I launch Dolo Apparel, I think I might have to drop a e-commerce guide too. It's just about how to set it up and go through that process too, because that's another stream of income. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of stuff in the works. We're constantly working, but stick with us through this thing, and and just watch us grow. And I think it's gonna be amazing, man. We got a lot of great things on the way. That's
Yeah,
all I
it's
got to
coming.
say, man. That's all I got to say, man.
Yes, sir, man. Y'all have a good night.
Have a great night.